I'm joined by the wonderful man that is Hagan Fox. Good morning, Hagan.
Wonderful. Well, that's some kind of intro. Thank you, Kate. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Well, being called wonderful, I'm feeling pretty good about life.
We're all wonderful, aren't we, really? We just don't sometimes see it.
Well, this is very true. No, I mean, I think we're both perennial optimists and we'll see the positive in life per se. Yes, absolutely.
And listen to less of the news.
Yes, we're not news junkies. It's true. It's not that we're trying to hide in a bunker or anything. Just a little bit of, yeah, infused with a little optimism would be quite nice, but somehow lacking. But we've got each other and we've got music and we've got astrology, so it's all good.
We have, and that is a key focus of what we are going to be sharing today with our listeners. I'm so excited because I have been absorbing your wisdom and energy for a while. Absolutely fascinated by it, and I just can't wait to hear a bit more. But I think some people that will be listening today won't have a clue what we're talking about. So astrology, Chinese astrology. So I think we need to go back to basics, if that's okay.
Yes, 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 yes. And just what do you want me to just explain who I am or what I do? Because
I
I,
would. First of all, tell me about you. And when things like when you were at school, did you always have this dream you would be such a amazing astrologer?
well, obviously, my father was a cartographer in the Royal Air Force and an astrologer for 45 years. Indeed, he taught me cartography and astrology when I was 14. And he had five boys. Five boys. He's a great dad. He had like literally he had five boys, and dad was a musician, an engineer, and a cartographer and an astrologer. And he's got five boys. One's an engineer, three musicians, and I'm an astrologer. So he left his legacy. But ultimately, yes, I was always obsessed with planets. Like on my wall, I had my wallpaper was just Neptune and Jupiter and Uranus, and I just loved it. It was just the grand nature of the universe just blew my mind from a very, very young age. So yeah, I was that kid, bit of a geek. I love numbers from the get-go.
Yes, and there's something on your website which I love, where you say the essence of mathematics and therein astrology is not to complicate the simple, but to simplify the complicated. This is my role.
Oh, well done. That is absolutely my role. It's such a beautiful quote. The problem with life is it is overcomplicated. We overcomplicate everything for the most part to justify the cost of something, when in fact the answer is normally right in front of you. And it's the ability to simplify something, distill something, but losing none of the accuracy and the integrity of the original data or information, as it were. That's the kind of gift. And when it comes to astrology, which is insanely complex numerical systems, it's the ability to interpret it, but lose none of that accuracy and integrity. The simplification of, but retaining the essence of the knowledge. That's my gig.
Well,
So,
and how much we can gain from that, though, because there's so much depth to astrology, to the work that you're doing, that you're sharing. When you began the interest in the planets and, learning from your father, did you have a specific area like location or, that inner system? What was your first sort of spike of interest when you started to dive a bit deeper?
I really started where everyone else started, which you just start with the sun signs. But the one thing that struck me immediately was that, and to this day, and it blows my mind, that Western astrology doesn't differentiate between male and female. It's insanity for me, complete madness. I always say to people, there are not 12 sun signs. There are 24, 12 female and 12 male. And one of those females is actually the strongest of the lot, stronger than all men. So I started with the 24 sun signs. And then by the time this is a 14, and then by the time I got to 18, I was frustrated. I felt Western astrology was too generic. And then I had discovered Chinese astrology, and that was it. And Chinese astrology is lunar based, and Western astrology is solar based. So it's a natural union. And it generated, I actually said to my dad, I remember it so well. I said, Dad, I've got this systems, fusion of Western and Chinese, and it's super cool because it generates 1,440 characters. I love that number. It looks really cool. Looks cool back to front as well. My father, wise man that he always was, he's upstairs now, but he was always so he said, I love that number too, sport, because he used to call me sport. This is
Oh,
why I'm a great dad, because I was born covered head to toe in eczema, and I couldn't run until I was 12. because I was just so covered in eczema. But Dad always knew that when I could run, I'd be a good sportsman. So he always called me Sport. Such a sweet thing to do. And he said, "Now, Sport, I love that number too." But I love that number because there are 1,440 minutes in a day. I'm like, man, that's cool. I love the idea of allocating one of those 1,440 combinations like Amatorian Wood Dragon to every minute of every day. So I was in from that point onwards, from the 18, I've spent literally now 45 years perfecting that knowledge, because that's a lot of information in 1,440 characters and then over 2 million one-to-one dynamics. But you also have to include cartography and Vedic astrology and numerology. These are all interweaving metaphysical energies that constantly work as one. It's a journey being an astrologer. I mean, I think you'll be about 112 by the time you kind of truly perfect your craft.
You must be, I mean, we're all learning all the time, aren't we? But that interest must keep going. And I just want to touch on something you said about your dad there, because I thought it was so lovely from just an affirming point of view for him to call you Sport, because there's so much negativity and a lot of lack of self-belief in this world. So just simple things like that and using the correct language can really lift a person to...
He was an absolute inspiration. I mean, literally, I was like a little crustacean when I was born. And both mum and dad they're great. My mum was like, and my mum actually still says, "Hello, darling, when are you going to get a job?" You know what I mean? But I love her. I love her completely. She's absolutely bonkers. Can't quite believe that I make more than a fiver as an astrologer, but of course dad gets it, or did get it. But they were great parents, and dad was really, really, he's just a natural father. He was a Virgo wood pig, and I regard the wood pig, this is anyone who's born in 1995. So if you know anyone born in 1995, I regard the wood pig as the nicest characters that have ever lived. Just the sweetest souls, the sweetest people, such kind, often too nice. So anyone who knows anyone who's born in 1995, you have a beautiful friend or relative, son, daughter, or husband or wife or whatever it is. But yes, that one word, Sport, it's literally called it constantly. It was a subliminal message, is that you are a sportsman. You know what I mean? You will be a sportsman. It was powerful. It was really good. And as you say, little things like that. So yeah, and I play table tennis now. I'm 61, but I play at a high level, play in a league. And he actually built a table tennis table when I was 6. Came downstairs Christmas Day, and he built a table tennis table. You know, when you get a good dad, you know, it's a blessing. You know, they are, you know, dads and mothers, don't get me wrong. But when you just get a good dad, he's practical. He's sort of like, he loves being a dad. I think that's the key. He really loved it.
Well, I think it shines in everything we do in life. If you love what you do, you can feel it, can't you? It's beyond seeing it. You can really feel the energy of when someone's not just showing up for the sake of it, but when they want to be there, when they love that thing, that person.
We actually live in the age of we're in the age of Aquarius now. Yeah, so we're actually entering the age now. The age of Aquarius is a very utopian age. Actually, kicked in 2012. 200-year cycle, and it's actually the age of technology, but it's very positive and utopian. It's just very changeable in that kind of transitional phase. But what the age of Aquarius is really encouraging is do what you truly love to do, because it will benefit society. Because when someone is doing something that they love, cherish, adore, and just wake up enthralled by every single day, everyone benefits, not just the individual. I wake up every single day, like I'm waking up today, and I'm doing Marlow radio with a beautiful Cancerian wood rat, and that's my first thought, and it's just like and it's cool, and I'm enthused by it. But this is how everyone really should be living their life, and it's not always easy to find your vocation. I was lucky. That was like, have a Virgo moon, you have like an Aquarian ascendant, everything about you and your natal chart. You're an astrologer born, and I believed it, and I love numbers, and that's the key to astrology. You absolutely have to be very comfortable. It's a purely numerical system measured in degrees, minutes, and seconds. It's pure mathematics fundamentally. So if you are very comfortable around mathematics, you are a natural astrologer. Really, that is the foundation of it.
Yeah, I'm not a natural mathematician. No,
But you are a natural healer.
yes, we touched on this, didn't we? I do love talking to people. That's what I know.
Well, we were saying yesterday, just pre this show, that there are certain elements of a natal chart which point to a natural healer. but it's not necessarily as healing hands. It's not necessarily being like a numerical geek who's able to interpret, like myself, who's able to interpret astrology. You, I would say, are like a conduit. And there are many, many conduits in the universe. Basically, you are bringing, like in this case, me to your audience and the surrounding area of Marlow. And you are a healer in that respect. You're sort of bringing energies together that potentially need each other, things like this. So there's many, many different forms of healers. I was telling you yesterday about the double M. So it's for anyone out there who's listening. If you have a Virgo moon or a Pisces moon, and I was showing Kelly yesterday, I have a double M on my hands, something else that my dad pointed out. But there's something called the double M. And if you have two M's on the palm of each hand, like left and right hand, and you're a Pisces moon or a Virgo moon, you are an absolute 101% purebred healer. There's people looking at that.
Yeah, people have been looking at that.
Hi, M's.
And if they haven't got M's, there is one other place they can look, which you were sharing about the North and the South node in the chart.
Yes, the Northern is when I go into a natal chart, the problem with Western astrology is, as I was saying to you earlier on, you have to understand the fusion of all these metaphysical energies. And the problem with just being a Western astrologer, they'll go too deep into a natal chart because you should only really be looking at houses 1, 4, 7, and 10. It's a triangle called the angles. And so when I go into a natal chart, I look at those angles, I look at the ascendant, the sun, the moon, and the North node. I'm in and out of a natal chart in under a minute, really. But that North node, the South node is where you came from. And in your case, you came from the 12th house, right?
Yes.
I'll explain what this means, which is why Kelly is probably more than a healer, definite conduit. But the South node and North node, you enter from your previous incarnation into the 12th house, and you're heading to the opposite house to that one that you arrive in, which in this case will be the 6th house. So Kelly's journey, or your journey, Kelly, is to go from the 12th house to the 6th. But when you arrive in the 12th house, you have lived a gazillion lifetimes, and you are armed with an enormous amount of ethereal, astrological, metaphysical knowledge. But it's so overwhelming that it takes more than a lifetime, well, the majority of the lifetime, to distill this immense knowledge, to actually understand it and distill it, and then impart it back to us on terra firma. And in your case, so you have this knowledge, but you haven't really tapped into it. You love it, you're fascinated with it, and this makes sense because you came from the 12th house, and the 6th house is to be of service. So this is basically what you're doing. You're taking, and your fascination and your probably obsession, like myself, with astrology will become stronger and stronger, because you'll be constantly reminded of where you came from in a previous incarnation. But the North node and the South node, the house you came from and the house you're going to, like you take another house as an example, the 4th and the 10th. If you arrived in the 4th house, it means that in your previous incarnations, you were just an absolute matriarch or patriarch, family. But you're heading towards the 10th house in this incarnation. That's career. Screw family. Nothing to do with family. You're a career kid. So those South and North node houses are they literally are, this is your direction in life. This is where you should be. It's where you should be heading. So they're very, very powerful players, the South node. Or if you ever wake up and think, I am truly directionless, suss out, understand, where is my South node and where is my North node? Where am I heading? What's my direction? Very, very powerful. That's one of the most benefic aspects of a natal chart.
That's really important because, like you said, and we'll play a track in a second and come back right to the beginning, because when people think about astrology, the sun signs is what most people will commonly know, won't they? The 12 houses, those signs, but there's so much beyond that.
Well, there's beyond that, and also there are probably more powerful energies and knowledge out there, specifically Chinese astrology and Vedic and Indian astrology, just truly phenomenal.
Hagan, thank you for sticking around.
I'm really enjoying it, Kelly. Because the thing is, you're born year of the rat and I'm born year of the dragon, and they're like soulmates in Chinese astrology. So it's just easy energy. It's nice.
It is. You've told us so much, and one of my friends has already sent me a photo of her hands with M's on.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
The question for your friend is she a Virgo moon or a Pisces moon? That would be my question.
She's a Cancer moon.
Is she a Cancerian moon?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. The moon at home. So Cancerian moon with a double M. Don't come across her very often at all. Is she a healer or not?
She's a very special lady. She's listening. Laura, her name is.
Well, Laura, because a Cancer moon is actually the happiest, most beautiful. The most optimistic moon is the Leo moon. It just bounces out of bed like Tigger the Tiger, the Leo moon. The Cancer moon is these are beautiful souls, right? The moon at home. They're really, really comfortable to there's an ethereal presence with a Cancer moon. It's lovely.
Yeah, she's Capricorn Cancer and I'm Cancer Capricorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is, but either way around. I mean, it's on the axis, but it's actually quite a good combination. I mean, the Cancer Capricorn actually hates being in the Capricorn moon hates being in Cancer because the Capricorn nature is to be very non-emotional and rigid and sort of in control, and the moon is like let it go. And the Capricorn sun signs in particular, Capricorn men. This is for all you women out there. They are in deep trouble in relationships because they can't get anywhere near emotions. So if you're in a relationship with a Capricorn man, you simply have to raise the stakes even slightly. The argument is won, is done because the Capricorn boy won't go there. As a little tip for anyone married to a Capricorn man, just raise the emotional stakes. They run for the hills.
I imagine there'll be lots of questions from this conversation. So tell us, because we are having progressive fun. In fact, today's a day for progressive fun, you said, didn't you?
Yeah.
Fused by Jupiter.
Yeah, it's a great day. It's Mars Jupiter. It's an awesome aspect. It's actually a famous aspect in astrology. It's known as the sporting aspect. So if you have like Mars literally conjunct Jupiter, you find an innumerable number of superstars down throughout the ages, sporting superstars who have this Mars Jupiter. Primarily a conjunction. This one is trine, Jupiter trine Mars today. It's ebullient, happy, joyous energy that must be taken advantage of. Good energy today. Now the planets constantly move. The energy just changes. Tomorrow is insane. Tomorrow has the potential to be fantastically volatile. There's so much going on.
Oh.
Today, joyous. Yeah, but this is the energy. There are two forms of energy. There's our own metaphysical journey of Vedic and Chinese and Western and numerology, and then you're dealing with also the energy up there. There's so much invisible energy going on, and we're expected to sort of somehow function with all this metaphysical energy sweeping through us every second of every day.
I know, right? It's a lot, isn't it? So tell us, if we can, for those that don't know much about astrology, tell us how you would approach that. So if someone knew nothing about astrology at all and they're listening to this conversation, where would you begin with someone? Because we're going to share your details and what you do and how people can find you. But just initially, if someone's blank canvas, hasn't got a clue, where would you begin?
I started with the 24 sun signs, right? This is the thing. And so for all Scorpio women out there, listening, Scorpio women are the strongest of all 24 sun signs. 12 men, 12 women, Scorpio women are, and this is why Scorpio women have always been derided and undermined, because men always knew that they were super powerful, enlightened, deeply humanitarian, incredibly powerful, incredibly strong. So I'm a huge fan of Scorpio women. If Scorpio women ruled the universe, it would be a beautiful place. Unequivocally true for me. And I'm mentioning Scorpio women because there are 24 sun signs, and this is where I would start. Basically, I had these 24 sun signs, and wherever I went, even if I was at a disco, wherever I went when I was like 14, 15, 16, I'd ask every single person I met, what's your sun sign? And then what you do is start to build up a foundational subset of characteristics of all Taurian men, of all Taurian women, of all Scorpio women, of all Scorpio men. And then once you've got this sort of found that you end up then with like, okay, I've kind of got fundamentally an understanding of virtually everyone on terra firma, because they're all one of these 24 sun signs. And I know the fundamental characteristics of each and every one of them. That's a great platform. Just understand the main characteristics. Like, and there's a big difference between male and female, for example, because Cancerian men, for example, have to have a beautiful relationship with a mother. Otherwise, they're broken. They're incredibly sensitive. They can be too intense. Cancerian women are just beautiful souls. They're at peace with the moon. They are charming. They're exquisite. They care. The difference between the male and female versions of the sun signs is remarkable. So you end up with these 24 very disparate characters. That is a foundation from which you can build. Then you work out the moon signs, you layer that on top, and the moons. So how it works with the three fundamentals of sun, moon, ascendant. The sun is the core characteristics that carry you through life. Often a lot of astrologers think it's the ascendant, but this is just not the case. the ascendant is how you present yourself, how you appear to others. So when somebody first meets me, they see an Aquarian ascendant. But when they get to know me, they meet this very far more chilled, relaxed Taurian sun sign type thing. And then the moon is how you respond emotionally. Now, I have a Virgo moon. It's a super sensitive moon. It's got to absolutely wreck your nervous system. And this is how you have to work out these different layers, because I'm an insanely inquisitive Aquarian ascendant. So when I meet someone, I'm always interested in their intellect first and foremost. It's not a physical thing. It's not an aesthetic thing. It's like, have they got a mind? And then my sun sign, I start morphing into my relaxed nature. But if I find myself in a stressful situation or the person's got negative energy, my Virgo moon just kicks off. So this is how you build up start with the sun sign, then weave in the moon energy, then weave in the ascendants, how they first appear. Then you've got this whole kind of character. And then the next layer, then you start to bring in, okay, what Chinese year are they born in? Things like this. Okay, then what numerical energy have they brought to? It's all, it's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. That's how. But start with the 24 sun signs. Just ask everyone you know, what sign are you? And then you meet two Scorpio women. And you're like, they've both got those two characteristics. It's that, and you start, okay, they're both serious for someone so young, and they're both incredibly strong, and that is two characteristics of Scorpio women. And you just start to build it up, and you're just like, wow. So, but foundations are the key to every successful individual, whether you're a nutritionist or a reflexologist. Just start from the ground up, and those 24 sun signs are a phenomenal foundation. They're the building blocks, really, for a future astrologer. Yeah.
That's so true, because I think the layers that we have in life as well is really important, because I don't feel we have enough understanding of that internal system, and out of just no fault of our own, where we've come from, what we've been through, these layers build up around ourselves, and then you're almost in this shell and you're not able to present as you truly want to be. I mean, from someone who suffered with anxiety for a long time, I know how debilitating that can be. So understanding all these things you're sharing is actually huge.
It's incredible. You did something remarkable, though, because when we spoke yesterday, I told you, I said the wood rat in Chinese astrology, this for people listening, is 1984. Sorry, giving you...
Everyone knows how old I am now, yeah.
But ultimately, it is famously the biggest warrior in Chinese astrology, right? Now, and Kelly didn't know that, but what Kelly did, she knew that she felt didn't know why. You were constantly anxious. So you wrote a book about it. That is a beautiful thing for every wood rat to do, because you are conceding, yes, I'm anxious. And I don't know why, but I'm going to write about it. But now, when we spoke yesterday, I'm like, okay, now I even understand why I am anxious and I feel anxious. It's the nature of the wood rat, which is why most wood rats need to be in a relationship with somebody insanely stable, because the wood rat every single day will wake up and worry about something, which never normally happens, Kelly, by the way. And they just need a really calm, character to just go, okay, I've got it in my back pocket. If it transpires, I will deal with it. Now, crack on with your day. So it's really important. A wood rat, for example, can't be in a relationship with someone who has nervous energy. It really, it exacerbates and accelerates the anxiety on such a grand scale. So this is a reason one has to know oneself. So who am I? I do a lot of consultations, and a lot of people just sit there and go, I need to know who I am, because life gets in the way. Relationships, kids, family, career, everything gets in the way. And you get to even mid-30s, mid-40s, mid-50s, it's like, who the hell am I? I've lost sight. I don't know. And it's like, and I go strip it right back. Okay, let's just go right back and then just build it back up. And then it's like, now you know who you are. Now you can start heading off in the right direction. But you're absolutely right. There are many, many layers, and often we'll meet one particular layer, and then, and that the wood rat famously conceals its anxiety. It's not very open about it. You've actually read a book about it, which is really cathartic thing to do and a beautiful thing to do. But there are a gazillion people out there listening, born in 84, thinking, now it makes sense. I get it. What do I do about it? You basically, because the thing is, it's an internal mechanism. It's internal. They don't externalize it. And there's something... Talking out loud is a very, very powerful way of extricating negative energy from yourself, because you're actually listening to yourself as well. So it's just like, you're saying to one's, okay, I'm worrying about X, Y, and Z. And you're just basically, you're actually getting out of the system. Because when you talk out loud, you're actually listening. And listening is the most powerful thing in life. Thinking is the most destructive, darkest energy that exists. Thinking is a merry-go-round of nonsense. It's subjective nonsense that just drives you insane. When two people communicate with each other like we are here, you're listening to me, but I'm also listening to myself in order to make sure that I'm conveying the message I want to convey. Listening is the most powerful essence of life for me, and thinking is the opposite end of the spectrum. So that anxiety, and the anxiety is caused by thinking, it's not caused by listening. It's what people really should make a note of. It's just like, just listen to yourself, and you'll just listen to how insane you are. And it's just like, you don't need to be. Yeah, it's nonsense. When you actually listen to what you're actually thinking, you think, why am I putting myself through this misery? You've got it out and you can kick it into touch. But when it's inside because I mean, astrology and psychology, it's all kind of inextricably linked. But the characters themselves, we're so individualistic. That's why there are 1,440 characters in my system. But we're so, like, sometimes people try, like, they do, I don't know, this sort of Myers-Briggs and all sorts of things like these, and they kind of categorize you into 8 categories or a color category. It's like, and there's like, you're either one of 4 people or 8 or 16. And I look at that and I think, this is absolute madness. Like, to try and say that every 60th person is the same character, the insanity of life blows my mind. It's like, I mean, my 1,440, that you're not even taking into consideration the backstory, the background, your upbringing, everything goes into the mix, but it starts with those layers of your character. That's where it all comes back to, ultimately.
I know, it makes so much sense to me, because it's even with the 12 signs or the 24 sun signs, that there aren't just 24 types of people, are there? There absolutely are not. There's so much more to it. And I think it is so powerful listening. Meditation really helped me, actually. And whenever I go into that space, I often think, well, really, all we're doing is giving ourselves a chance to listen to what we have to say. It's not a clear mind. It's not peace. People come into it thinking, I want to feel peaceful.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's what you're doing is you're just giving yourself a moment to really check in and hear your own self.
Meditation and just stillness is just a beautiful thing. Just to be still and because the body when you sleep, the body is constantly repairing itself and just recalibrating. But often, you're not, when you're asleep, you're not always asleep. You're often more rested when you're consciously still than when you are subconsciously or asleep, because you're actually not in that kind of subconscious kind of level, and there's too much going on in the mind. The mind hasn't switched off. So conscious stillness, very, very powerful. Absolutely.
Yes. And we're having a wonderful chat this morning. Hagan Fox is an astrologer, a luminaire, and we're going to talk about cartography. We haven't touched on that yet.
Yeah. Love cartography.
That's where we're going to go next, actually. So if you have just tuned in, you can listen again, marlowfm.co.uk, and just select Good Morning Marlow and today's date. But we are going to talk a little bit about cartography. Now, tell us about that, because that encompasses so much, doesn't it? Geography, maps is what's coming to mind for me.
Yeah. Cartography. And my father was a cartographer in the Royal Air Force. As a young man, very young man, actually. And it was the very first thing he taught me. Taught me astrology, obviously, because he was an astrologer. But the very first thing Dad taught me was cartography, which is basically longitudinal and latitudinal lines that go east-west and south-north around this magnificent Earth. And it is a phenomenally accurate form of really astrology in terms of it. There are locations where you must and must not live on terra firma, and it's quite complex. It's based on the 4 angles of a natal chart. So it's based on the ascendant, the descendant, the midheaven, and the imum coli. It is a system created by a guy called Jim Lewis, brilliant man, and it allows me to tell you, Kelly, and everyone else very specifically where you should and should not live. It's fantastically objective. There's no subjectivity here. Someone can say to me, I'm thinking, well, I'll give you a story. A lady had a consultation. She said, listen, my husband's just signed a contract for Brisbane, 2-year contract. So we're going. We've already paid 6 months rent up front. I just want to make sure that Brisbane is a good location for me. I checked out Brisbane for this lady, and it was absolutely shocking. She had Saturn longitudinally and latitudinally. latitudinally. And I literally said to her, "You can't move to Brisbane." And she went, "I've got no choice. We've already paid 6 months rent." She contacted me March earlier this year, another consultation. So, Hagan, I'm still down here in this hellhole. We arrived, the 6 months we put down for rent didn't exist. That was right. That was just the start. So we lost 6 months rent straight off the bat. It's been 2 years of hell for me. So I need two things from you right now, this next consultation. Where the hell should I live in the UK? And I need a recommended book on cartography because she lived exactly. I just said, you can't go there. She said, it was everything you said it would be. And the point about cartography, you do need to know your time of birth within 4 minutes, right? Within 4 minutes. But that's a horror story for her. But I have many positive stories because ultimately there are certain lines you must live on or can live on. Like there is there are destiny lines, there are love lines, there are money lines, there are like Saturn lines and Neptune lines, which are really destructive and volatile lines. Mars can be positive, can be negative, but there are two longitudinal sets of lines, primary longitudinal, secondary longitudinal, and latitudinal. You have to hit all three. You have to hit all three. And when you do, that literally is nirvana and utopia. But if you get all three wrong, you're literally moving to hell and you don't even know it. It's the most consultations I do are the cartography consultations because it's big decisions. When you relocate or even just moving, right? It makes such a difference. And these longitudinal lines move east, west, and north, south. They move every 4 minutes. So it's like, that's the one with all the other astrology I do. I don't need the time of birth. That's why I fuse Western and Chinese. You don't need a time of birth, just the day, but with cartography within 4 minutes. But it's the most accurate form of sort of metaphysical energy that exists for me. It's phenomenal.
I want to know more. I know I was born at 8:08 p.m. and I think there are lots of people out there that are probably listening to this thinking, wow, I want to know more about this. I want to understand more. But astrology is huge. I mean, I have been interested in it for at least 10 years, starting to understand it more in the last 5, yes. Really enjoying it. But for someone that's new to this is massive, isn't it? There's so much to understand.
You genuinely need. I mean, I'm 45 years deep, and I learn something new every single day. And this is why the simplification of you have to know what is of use and what is not of use and what is of great use. You have to then simplify it and distill it in a really very, very sort of, I use the word distill. You have to distill it losing none of the accuracy and the integrity. This is the key to astrology. And if you're able to do it, it does make it very, very accessible. But a lot of astrologers get stuck in a natal chart, and the deeper you go, the less relevant it becomes. And so it is a constant journey. But what I would say to everyone, you can't know enough about all the different metaphysical energies. It's much more important to know a little about Western, a little about Vedic, a little about Chinese, a little about cartography and numerology, and have like fundamental foundational knowledge of all those, and then just grow from that point rather than go deep into natal chart and not even entertain the idea that there are more powerful metaphysical energies at play. But it's, as you say, you're 10 years deep and you're constantly, I'm still learning everything. I love to learn anyway, sort of thing. But there's alchemy, there's all sorts of things. Like I'm currently building a luck algorithm. Which will determine that each of us only have about 6 days in a year where everything, the ethereal energy upstairs and the energy on terra firma, works as one for us. Only about 6 days. So I'm building this luck algorithm, which the boys behind it, the money behind it, they call it the alchemy algorithm. But it's really, when you bring all these metaphysical energies together as one, it does become somewhat kind of magical, really quite magical. But it's a journey. It's an absolute journey. I mean, as I say, I think I'll probably get to 112 and finally think, okay, I think I know all I need to know, but it's ongoing. I'm probably, I've got good knowledge, no question about it. But my dad is constantly watching me going, don't, he always said to me, perfect your craft. That was his literate, he called me sport, perfect your craft. That's what you see me like going out with the boys and drinking too much cider or whatever. And he'd always see me the next morning going, sport, have fun, always perfect your craft. And I think this applies to everyone and everything. The best people you meet, the most interesting people you meet are the people that have taken time out to perfect their craft, whatever it might be, a woodsman, whatever it is. I love people like that who know every single last aspect of what they do and what they find joyous. Yeah, these are the best people you meet, for me anyway.
Definitely. I mean, I feel one of my 6 luckiest days of the year must be today because I feel so privileged, honestly. Seriously. No, I'm so grateful just to learn from you. But I think when we're thinking about the people that are listening, who are the sort of people that you want to hear from and why? Because it'd be great to give you a website, your contact details, because you're going quite deep, aren't you? So, people should look out for their 24 sun signs. But beyond that, who do you want to hear from?
Well, when I do a consultation, I literally do. We cover all the metaphysicals. I do cover the Vedic, the Chinese, the numerology, cartography, and Western. You need to cover everything, and it's an hour. Well, it's either an hour and a half. And there are two ways you can contact me. There's an automated booking system at haganfox.org. So HAGANFOX.org. That's an automated booking system, and you have a choice of readings that you can have. But if you don't like technology and you don't want to go through the automated process, you can also just contact me at my agent, which is Hagan, again, HAGAN, at ampersand, at John Knoll, JOHNNOEL, to Hagan at johnnoel.com. So they're the two sort of avenues. And the people I hear from, I mean, my main markets are America and Australia. Like American, I've got, I don't know, probably about, there's roughly about 500,000 followers on the social media, and 42% is America. It's amazing. And Australia, they're my two main markets. And the age range is insane. It's 18 right up to a woman I did a consultation recently who was amazing, 78, and wanted to move to Hawaii and set up a business. Fucking loved her. I loved her. I mean, it's phenomenal, right? Still got it, still on it, still really driven, really ambitious. Was always a successful businesswoman and wanted to set up a new business in Hawaii. And so the age rate is mostly women. The truth is, and this is why I was saying to you yesterday, Kelly, I am such an admirer of feminine energy in women because they're enlightened, Kelly. They get it. 95% of my followers are women. And I'm a man, and the male ego, the blinkered, rigid, inflexible nature of the male ego drives me as a man insane. You women are just enlightened. And I applaud every one of you.
We women are going to take that today here at Marlow FM and anyone listening. But men are amazing, aren't they, though, as well? Yeah.
Hey, I hang out with the boys, right? I play sport with the boys. I love the boys. But when it comes to astrology, honestly, I mean, and anything ethereal, the problem with the male ego, if the male ego doesn't know something, it will absolutely dismiss it 99% of the time. And it's their loss. It's their loss. But there are many, many enlightened men out there. And I know a few, and they are to be cherished. Yes, for sure.
Could you, before we're going to actually probably talk up to the news, because this conversation is just so exciting. You're going to stick around for a few minutes after the news, aren't you? Just so you can say goodbye properly.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to have a mindful moment together. And we're also going to start the second hour with Born Again, because we don't want to forget that track. But before that, could you let people know your Instagram handle? Because you post really helpful videos on there for anybody wanting a bit of insight. You've done life path numbers recently. You're giving advice about the energy on the day. I love them. They're also quick and really accessible. Tell us about that quickly.
My Instagram handle is Hagan Fox Astrology on Instagram, and yes, I do all sorts. Really, I mean, there's about 1,000 videos posted. You could lose yourself in there. But currently, I've just finished doing like the life path, numerical life path numbers. I do a daily forecast, normally about 2 minutes long. It's a short, sharp hit of exactly. You can man manage your day, or woman manage your day. I should say. But yeah, if it's everything you need to know about astrology, you'll find. I've done all sorts of bits and pieces, and I did a live session last week, and we were talking about every single subject under the sun. Hagan Fox Astrology on Instagram.
Brilliant. And you're on YouTube?
I'm on YouTube. Yeah, just Hagan Fox Astrology, or Hagan Fox on YouTube, or Hagan Fox Astrology on YouTube, and Hagan Fox Astrology on TikTok as well. So,
wow, you are everywhere. This energy needs to filter out into the world, you know?
Well, I mean, you have to do it. I mean, I'm social media bereft, but I'm surrounded by a very structured, organized team. people like your Capricorn moon, Kelly, I was saying to you yesterday, having one of the four fixed signs or a Capricorn moon is a blessing. It's really structured, organized, strong. This is what keeps you going. This is the counterweight for your worrisome wood rat.
Oh, well, thank you.